Hi, welcome to our channel. We just arrived at Ausia's property. We decided that since we're going to go to Tennessee for a while, that it'd be great to spend time with everybody before we leave. Bonus is that Scotty's birthday is today, so we'll be spending some time with him at a restaurant of their choosing. Just looking forward to hang out with everybody. Yeah.
I'd just like to add that it's great to see everybody again, and we're really looking forward to spending some time with everyone. I'm also going to be working on the car a little bit more. Hopefully y'all aren't bored with that yet. I mean, I would like it to be running while we're going cross country so that we can use it just to go get groceries and explore a little bit maybe. So hopefully I can figure out what's wrong with it. So I've got the fuel rail off and the injectors on the tracker. I just got through cleaning this one, which is number 4. There was a little tiny bit of like red matter in this barrel that the fuel injector fits into and the fuel rail, but the fuel injector itself looked okay. And this is the side that the fuel pipe, as they call it, connects onto, and also the I think it's like called a pressure debouncer or something like that. It's like a diaphragm probably that helps with taking some edge off of what the pump is doing. And then I cleaned that by back flushing it and everything with, you know, following a YouTube video. And then I took number 3 off, which is the one that's been misfiring. And I don't know if you can see in here, but it is completely full of like, it looks like rust colored sand. And the injector is also full of that. It's got to be rust. These are the other two injectors that are still on the rail. But this is the injector for number 3 that has been misfiring. That's unbelievable. It is completely full of rust powder. Completely full. This injector is not working at all. I can clean it and back flush it, but I've got to read about how to flush the fuel system, and I think I may have to drop the tank and flush it out too. But right now it's got, you know, I'm as smart as usual. I filled it up with gas the other day whenever we went to town. It was empty, but I filled it up, so now it's got like 12 or 13 gallons of gas in it that I have to get rid of somehow. And it's not usable gas because it's full of rust, obviously. So good news is we know why the engine isn't running right. Bad news is that I've got some really bad fuel system problems. So I've got all the injectors out of the rail now. This is the one that I just cleaned for cylinder number 4, the rearmost. It actually wasn't visibly dirty, but there was a little tiny bit of crud in the bottom of the seat here. And then this is the one for number 3, the one that the computer says is misfiring. It's completely full of rust powder. And the fuel rail there has, it's full of rust powder too. And then this guy is number 2, half full of rust powder. And the fuel rail is also like visibly dirty in there. You can see crud in the number 1 cylinder, but that one is about half full of rust powder. So number 3 completely full, number 2 mostly full, where I'm surprised it still ran without a misfire. Number 1 almost full, and number 4 was fine. So really the only cylinder that was probably firing okay was number 4. Amazingly dirty. So gonna have to flush the fuel system, and that will be fun with a full tank of gas. Well, I finally got the fuel tank out. It took me the better part of a day because the hitch that I was so excited that this thing came with, the hitch has probably been on here for 20 years, and the bolts all came out like this except for one. So the threads are all eaten up, and they were in the captive bolts that are in the frame. So I had to break the threads out of it and then turn it through the threads that were left in the bolts. But it looks like the bolts should be okay, I hope. Otherwise, my friend Bruce tells me that I can use JB Weld and kind of fake it, make it strong enough to where it's okay. But one of them could not take out. I just couldn't. There's no room to get an impact on there, no room to get a breaker bar on there. All I have is a 3/4 box wrench, a regular span or whatever, and I couldn't get enough leverage on it. And you can see that it started to round it off whenever I used the open end. And this end, really, you're not supposed to put that much pressure on because it's got a ratchet in it and it could break the ratchet mechanism. But just out of desperation, I tried anyway. I couldn't get enough leverage. So I took 3 of them out and then managed to pull it out of the way enough to where I could get the tank free. So now we get to see what's in here. A good thing to note on these that I didn't know about before is that they do have a flap in here that's supposed to keep gas, I guess, from sloshing back out of the tank up the fill tube. I'm not really sure why. But it also works as like an anti-siphon so that you can't put a siphon tube in here. As you can see, one of them is collapsed because I forced a siphon tube in here to get the gas out of the tank. So if you ever end up needing to get the gas out of a 96 or newer Geo tracker, also this is, I understand that the 4 doors have a different tank. I think it's a little bit bigger. So specifically a 96 or newer 4 door, you're going to have a problem getting the siphon tube down, but if you push hard enough, it will work. So looking into the fuel tank, it has to have gotten water in it over the years, probably from bad fuel. It has this little cup that the fuel pump sits in, and that's all rusted out. There's rust in the bottom of that cup, and if we look over this way, that's all rust powder. Okay, so I took this chain that we used to use on the dolly to hold the Corolla on, the emergency chain, and took the tank apart and threw that in there after I got all the gas out of it, and just shook it around a lot for a couple of hours, really, just at different angles. Broke most of the rust out of it, and then our friend Bruce loaned me the blower, because out here, whenever you come in on the road, it's so powdery that you got to have a blower for no other reason, just to clean off your rig, because it'll have just mountains of dirt on it. And then I took the crowbar and I etched around the little bowl that the pump sits in, so that whenever you're driving, the fuel sloshing around doesn't slosh around the pump. It just kind of stays at a certain level. And here's the tank all rinsed off. Probably can't really see in there very well, but it is still rusty. But you can see that I scraped a lot of the loose rust, and it's all bone dry now. And the bottom of it wasn't really rusty. What's rusty is the top. I mean, I could stick my hand in there and it was like sand all over the place. And there's still some areas where it's where there's rust, but it's not as bad. Then also, this from here up was all. It looked like there was paint, but it was probably like, shellac that sat over the years and started to peel, and then, it was also rusty. You can see it's still here, but I took I took a screwdriver and different things and etched all that off. And then another friend went to Napa. Well, she was going through Flagstaff anyway. So she stopped at Napa and picked up my new strainer because the one that was on here had tears in it. This is a really fine mesh strainer. So I replaced that, and now I'm putting all the stuff back on. Like this is a vapor evaporator tank. It's one of the fuel return lines from the smog equipment. This condenses the gas and it drips back through here, I believe. And then also there's a sending unit that I have to clean up to put back in this hole over here. And then this guy, I think it's part of the EGR system or something, or it's a sensor. Actually, it's just a sensor. It doesn't have a hose, it just has a wire. So clean that up and put that back in. But I think this will get us by for now, so that whenever we get back to Tennessee, I'll have a new tank waiting for us there and a new pump with a new strainer. So this has just got to get us from Arizona to Tennessee. Sorry about the wind, it's very windy.
Alright, we're getting ready to leave and start heading to Tennessee. It's going to be a really long drive. But yeah, we're just saying bye to everybody. Yeah, we're going to miss them, but we're going to be back pretty soon. We're aiming to go to Rady's get-together in December.
It's like right before Christmas.
Yeah, December 15th, I think.
I think it might even be like 28. I'm not sure.
Anyways, we'll pan that out. Well, we said bye to everybody, and now we're leaving the property. And we're on our way to Tennessee.
So we're at the Hoppy Travel Plaza on the 40 before you get to New Mexico, heading east. We're going to stop here for the night. There's a big accident with an hour delay just before you go into New Mexico. And the Hoppy Travel Plaza had information on it that said that there were free hookups that were 20, 30, and 50 amp. But it turned out that it's locked down now. You have to call a number, and if you call the number or if you go to the website that they give you, then it says that it's coming soon. So it's all there, but it's all shut off. So, but this is a beautiful sunset. And I've got to go up on the roof and seal some things so that if it rains, because it's supposed to rain and snow possibly, then that way it'll be leak proof. But here we are. So here we are again, on our way to our home in Sparta, Tennessee. And we are gonna be going through a cold front, a really bad one that's coming down from the north through Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, and Oklahoma. And if we stayed on the 40, we'd be caught right in the middle of it, and it would be down in like the teens with hail and snow and ice. So we decided to deviate south a little bit to I want to say Silverton, because we've been there, but that's not what this town is called. And wait out the storm. But today, Sunday, this is the wind part of the storm. 40, well, it's 30 mile an hour sustained winds with gusts up to 60 mile an hour. And there's just a lot of wind. I mean, it's whipping us around like mad. And the car's rocking. The RV's rocking. But I'm doing some maintenance on the RV right now, getting ready for the very cold temperatures over the next couple of days. And I'm insulating our water line with pool noodles and heat strip, and flushing out the tanks and putting some water in them. Gonna have the tanks with about a half tank of water to keep it from freezing as much as possible. And yeah, we're at a site with full hookups so that we can weather the storm. Gonna be here for several days, getting some work done, waiting out this horrible storm. But this morning, before the wind started, this was like crystal clear, beautiful views. But now you can see there's just dust storms rocking through the valley. I mean, that was a tumbleweed, but it's not really tumbling, it's flying. Crazy winds. Today, before the actual storm hits, we were thinking about taking the car into town and doing some sightseeing, but I don't even think we're going to do that. So.
Dude, it's really windy.
Yeah, today it's just really, really windy, and it's probably going to start raining. It is raining a little bit, you can see, just like a little bit of sprinkle right now. But for the next several days, it's going to be that really bad storm, and it's going to be freezing temperatures and snow and ice. So we figured we're going to have cabin fever if we don't go out and explore a little bit. So we're taking the newly repaired tracker out, and we found this little park. Carl L. Haas and Attella W. Haas Memorial Park, which you have to make reservations for, but it's pretty. We like the
fall colors.
Yeah, it's got all the fall colors right now. It's gonna be pretty picturesque looking place. So we're just gonna keep driving around a bit before the weather drives us back to town, and then we'll go hole up for the next several days.
Well, it's starting to hail a little bit, little tiny hails. I hope not much more than that happens.
Yeah, we don't want to damage our paint.
Our Uber car.
Paint. Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like all of the trails for off-roading are pretty much closed.
Yeah, they have
Oh, what's that?
might be an off-road trail. Yeah, if they have a gate where they could possibly close it, it's closed. This is probably a campsite. Yeah, campsite. No, something down there. But it looks like people probably were using it as an OHV trail, but then they put big boulders to dissuade you. Yeah, because you can see how it used to continue down there, but they put boulders and like a berm. So now it's just a campsite.
Oh, wow. Oh, what was that? Oh, a squirrel.
Where's the squirrel?
It's running up the hill. It is pretty here.
Yeah, it is. So we're still climbing this this road. The rain hasn't really super hit us yet. We had a little bit of light hail earlier, and sorry for the sound, but the wind is really hellacious right now. But this is a fire damaged area, obviously. So we're driving by this and we just wanted to show it. And then there's the town down there.
So it looks like we found a path that's not closed. So we're going exploring a little bit.
Yeah, this is the first time that I've actually been exploring in the tracker since fixing it. So, oh look, squirrel!
Ah.
Wildlife.
Feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me. So alive, make it last forever. Stop in time, yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me.
So we're not that narrow.
Yeah, they kind of stopped us right here. We're backing out. Looks like we can go off right here.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Waste another day, eyes on my display. You say we need a change, and I feel that you mean it. You mean it. But you're so right, we're losing track of time, buying things online, and it's not like we need them. We don't need them. So can we just slow down? The only thing I'll do is lay here next to you. We need to slow down. Embrace the love we found for you and I was safe and sound. Can we just stop?